Welcome to AFS Forum 2024.
Please welcome the President of AGRA, Dr. Agnes Kalibata.
Your Excellency, today, what I would like to do is to help you understand the key moments of this forum as we launch it today, so that you have a sense of what we are bringing to Kigali this year. We continue to grow the forum from the 500 people when we started a while ago to now 5,000 people again here in Kigali. We had to stop registration. So we continue to appreciate the intensity and the support with which the government of Rwanda brings to this forum. AGRA is about Africa Food, what is it again? Africa Food Systems Forum, led by PATHE, a convening that brings all of you together. PATHE is the originator of the legacy program, and I just wanted to appreciate. PATHE worked with IFAD. PATHE worked with IFAD, did a great job, and understood how to bring public institutions together. We did that for the first time in Tanzania, and I just wanted you to understand and appreciate the people behind the scenes. So he continues to lead that here today. Victoria, good to see you here today. Victoria leads the Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund. The Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund is one of the early institutions that AGRA set up when we were thinking about being an alliance. It funds businesses of a certain ticket size. As you grow and you become the business, the place to go is the Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund. The first time I heard about the Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund is the business here in Rwanda, which you know, right, Honorable Prime Minister, Kigali Farms. I was in office here as a minister, and they came and said, oh, we got an award and we are starting this business in Kigali. Today, Kigali Farms sells mushrooms in all supermarkets in East Africa. So that's the Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund. So thank you again and welcome to this forum, and let's make the most of it. Let's crack some deals and let's get the Africa food systems out there going. So thank you again.
Rwanda is privileged to host the Africa Food Systems Summit 2024, the world's leading agriculture and food systems forum. As the host of the Africa Food System Forum, this is the second time that the Rwandan government, through the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources, hosts in person the Africa Food System Summit. Its overarching goal is to mobilize all stakeholders, policymakers, private sector, academia, youth, women, and farmers to innovate, accelerate, scale the food systems transformation. The Africa Food System Summit, planned from yesterday till Friday this month, is expected to gather about 5,000 people who will share lessons and take practical actions to build productive, nutritious, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable Africa food systems that have the power to accelerate the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources welcome you all to the Agriculture Food System Summit 2024. Thank you, murakoze cyane. Welcome, karibuni sana.
The former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, the current board chair of AGRA, His Excellency Haile Mariam Desalegn. Please, you're very welcome. The podium is yours.
It gives me a great pleasure and honor to address you on behalf of African Food Systems Forum Partners Group and AGRA at the official opening of the Africa Food Systems Forum 2024. The theme of this forum, Innovate, Accelerate, and Scale, delivering food systems transformation in a digital and climate era in Kigali, a city of history, culture, exceptional hospitality, and innovation. On behalf of all of us here today, may I take this liberty of thanking the government and people of Rwanda for the warm hospitality and your outstanding generosity accorded to all of us. I'd also like to thank you all for joining this important forum, which creates an opportunity to deliberate on what we can do together to improve the Africa food systems and achieve results at scale. I eagerly anticipate that this forum will address the critical issues surrounding our food systems. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, food is an essential part of us, our continent, and our world. Ready, do we pause and ponder what it takes for the food to arrive on our plate? The journey for food mix from the farm to our plate is so long and often involves complex politics, sophisticated business, and interrelated networks. We need to realize that behind that ear of corn, the pack of chicken breasts, or the bag of apples in a network of actors whose efforts is making sure that you and I have food to eat. I extend our profound gratitude to all involved, and especially to our smallholder farmers. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here this week to play our decisive role, and more importantly, to take the ownership of transforming our food systems. We know for sure that we cannot move forward with the same old ways. As the African saying goes, I quote, "For tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today," end of quote. Africa is rich in land, natural resources, and biocultural diversity, all of which are critical assets for well-functioning food systems. Besides, with around 60% or so global share of arable land and food baskets corridors, it is a strategic position to cement a global leadership in agriculture and agribusiness and become the food and agribusiness center of the world. Despite all this, Africa remains the most food insecure continent. The situation is even more problematic in parts of the continent where the food systems are characterized by small-scale operations, short local supply chains, and market relations by spot exchange. We all agree that food systems transformation remains a major concern for Africa today and into the foreseeable future. Firstly, because food demand on the continent is currently growing at an average rate of 3% per annum. And secondly, the continent's population that's growing at the same rate will nearly double from the current state to around estimated 2.4 billion by 2050. It is also concerning that the state of food security in the continent is worsening, with over 20% of the continent's population undernourished. The food import bill is still very high, beyond 60 billion a year. We should take the responsibility for what is happening to our food systems. We are spending about only 4.6% of its total public spending on agriculture, falling short of the 10% target of the 2014 Malabo Declaration on Accelerated Agricultural Growth and Transformation for Shared Prosperity and Improved Livelihoods. Excellencies, food systems are local, but also global. linking through trade and sophisticated financial markets. These markets rely on transactions and information that influence the decisions farmers make about inputs, including land, labor, and technology. Evidently, food systems are about production, nutrition, connectivity, and trade, and they are about connecting farmers to markets, enabling small-scale farmers to become small and medium enterprises. They are also about providing consumers with essential information and addressing the impacts of climate change, particularly in regions like Africa that suffer greatly despite net zero emissions. It is important to understand that food systems are central to many of the major global challenges of our time and play a critical role not only in shaping human diets and health outcomes, but also the sustainability of the environment in which food is produced, distributed, and consumed. Food system transformation is urgent, requiring rigorous, science-based monitoring to guide public and private decisions and support those who hold decision makers to account. And yet, African food system has not received the political attention it deserves and the concomitant and commitment it requires. I repeat this, and yet African food system has not received the political attention it deserves and the commitment it requires. If you ask me, how did you come about this conclusion? I would say just look at the amount of investment we put into our food systems, period. Excellencies, distinguished participants, for us in African Food Systems Partners Group and AGRA, we proved that with the right policy, support, and encouragement, our farmers can and will lift themselves out of poverty. I must emphasize that innovation can significantly drive the sustainable development of our food systems in Africa. It is a critical part of the food investment mix, providing new solutions that feed into strategic alliance for change. Scientific exchange in Africa should be strengthened to facilitate awareness of technological and scientific advances in transformation of our food systems. The role of government in this process is extremely significant, mainly through increasing the space for private sector, improving the policy and the regulatory environment. This is lacking. We should not disregard the role of women and youth, key features of the African food systems. Women and youth comprise more than 75% of the agricultural workforce in the region and are the predominant labor providers in agribusiness and agro-industries. Yet, in many parts of Africa, women and youth continue to face significant social and economic exclusion. They often lack access to productive resources, agricultural inputs, social protection, as well as technological and entrepreneurial know-how. Excellencies, as I conclude, I want to emphasize that the tradition towards more efficient and comprehensive food systems in the continent is imperative to ensure the provision of healthy and safe food in light of escalating population growth and climate change. This year's theme, Innovate, Accelerate, and Scale, delivering food systems transformation in digital and climate era, underlines the need for us to forge together a stronger partnership to transform our food systems in a sustainable way, adapted to national and regional circumstances. We need to shift the narrative from food availability to the development of resilient food systems by ensuring that farming is intensive, climate smart, and technology enabled. We need to commit ourselves to work diligently to tap the Africans' youth creativity into transforming ideas, inventions, technologies, to solving problems related to African food systems. This commitment includes creating a conducive policy environment for our youth to develop and sustain innovation platforms. We need to commit more investments in innovation to facilitate the transition of African agriculture from labor-intensive, low-productivity activities to skills-intensive approaches and build resilient African food systems. I am confident that if managed and governed differently, food systems could be a champion of change, leading other sectors with solutions and inspiration. Let's be the champions of our food systems. I thank you all, and God bless you.
The Prime Minister of Rwanda.
Your Excellency Haile Mariam, former Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, Chair of the AGRA Board and the Africa Food System Forum Partners Group, Excellency Chief Minister of Sierra Leone, Dr. Agnes Kalibata, President of AGRA, Honorable Ministers here present, members of Diplomatic Corps, representatives of international organizations here present, Africa Food System Forum partners, distinguished delegates, a very good morning. We are very happy to host you for the Africa Food System Forum 2024 Annual Summit, and I am very pleased to welcome you all to Kigali. I would like to begin by thanking the Africa Food System Forum team for their tireless efforts in advancing the agenda for transforming African agriculture. My appreciation goes also to His Excellency Haile Mariam, the Chair of the Africa Food System Forum and partners, for continued collaboration with the government of Rwanda in organizing this summit. Allow me also to acknowledge and thank Dr. Agnes Kalibata, the President of AGRA, for her long-term dedication to the transformation of Africa's food systems. The importance of this forum is driving the transition to resilient food systems across Africa is unquestionable. Over the past decade, the platform has influenced agricultural policies, mobilized investments, and served as a knowledge-sharing hub. It continues to shape the future of agriculture in Africa, driving progress towards sustainable and resilient food system. As you know, back in 2019, through a competitive bid during the summit held in Accra, Ghana, Rwanda became the long-term home country of this forum, previously called Africa Green Revolution Forum. And we have all appreciated that in 2022, AGRF was rebranded to Africa Food System Forum. This strategic shift reflects the ambition to bring on board all stakeholders across food systems value chain. I noted with satisfaction the move to turn this annual summit into an accountability platform. It is time to challenge ourselves and move from words to actions that make things happen. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I commend the choice of this year's theme, Innovate, Accelerate, and Scale, delivering food system transformation in the digital and the climate era. This theme reminds us of our shared vision to scale up our efforts to transform our food systems. This year's forum is particularly significant as it precedes critical milestones for our continent. As you are aware, next year, 2025, the African Union's Malabo Declaration will elapse. We also have less than 6 years to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. As we work to fulfill our commitments, we find ourselves facing a deeply concerning situation. Food is a fundamental human right, yet across our continent, it remains a daily struggle to access sufficient, nutritious, and affordable food. Some reports indicate that over 32% of all African children under the age of 5 are stunted against a global average of 22%. In addition, over 20% of our population is experiencing severe food insecurity. This means that nearly 1 in 5 Africans lacks regular access to enough nutritious food for a healthy life. Consequently, malnutrition weakens the immune system and increases vulnerability to diseases among our people, and it also impairs physical and cognitive development in our children. This results directly in higher healthcare costs, reduced workforce productivity, and in diminished capacity for innovation. Also, reports show that malnutrition can reduce a country's GDP by 3 to 16%, costing our continent billions of dollars annually. As we know, when a country faces food insecurity, it must allocate huge resources to emergency food aid and social safety nets. As a result, this diverts essential resources from critical sectors such as agriculture, education, infrastructure, and healthcare. And we should always avoid these situations in our countries. Therefore, our collective responsibility is to address all these challenges. We must hold ourselves accountable for creating and implementing policies that promote a more resilient and equitable food systems. A few examples of those policies include investing in sustainable agriculture, improving value chains, reducing post-harvest losses, and improving processing capabilities on our continent. In Rwanda, to achieve that, one of the key strategies we have put in place is adoption of modern agriculture techniques and technologies. In this regard, we believe that by integrating precision agriculture, advanced irrigation systems, and climate-smart practices, Rwanda will increase crop yields and resilience against climate change. The government is also expanding access to agricultural insurance and affordable credit to ensure farmers can invest in their farms and recover from climate-related shocks more effectively. These efforts, combined with supportive policies and investments in rural infrastructure, are creating a more resilient and sustainable food systems in Rwanda. Excellencies, distinguished guests, as I conclude, I would like to emphasize that the path to delivering food systems transformation in Africa lies in our ability to innovate, accelerate, and scale. By leveraging digital technologies, adopting climate-resilient practices, and building inclusive systems, we can achieve our vision where every African has access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food. Our African governments and other policymakers should collaborate with the private sector to transform agriculture and ensure sustainable food supply. Rwanda remains committed to playing its role in advancing agricultural transformation on our continent. I once again want to thank the Africa Food System Forum and its partners for the successful organization of this forum. I wish you all an enjoyable stay in Rwanda and look forward to the productive outcome of this year's summit. On this note, it is my pleasure to declare the 2024 Africa Food Summit System Forum officially open. I thank you so much.
Thank you, the Right Honourable Prime Minister Edouard Ngirente, for officially opening the AFS Forum.
Ye muzagaruke murebe mw'abakobwa mwe